Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. And today's video is when you have a huge argument with them. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and let's get going. The tension in your apartment was thick enough to cut with a knife. A suffocating silence pressing down on the three of you. The remnants of your explosive argument, the first truly huge one since the three of you got together, still hung in the air, accurate and sharp. You sat slumped on the edge of the sofa, your head on your hands, the adrenaline rush of shouting having faded into a hollow, painful ache. You knew you had pushed too far. You'd been stressed about work. Your words had been sharper than usual, and you'd aimed them squarely at one thing you knew would hurt them both. The shared goal of becoming the world's top heroes. Bakugo was standing by the window, his back to you, his shoulders rigid. His usual explosive energy was channeled into a barely controlled tremor, a stark silence that was far more unnerving than his loudest yell. Kirishima was leaning against the kitchen counter, his arms crossed over his chest. His usually bright, earnest expression was clouded over, his brow furrowed in a deep, wounded concern. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't even raising his voice, but the look in his eyes, the quiet, disappointed look, hit you harder than any explosion. You finally break the quiet, your voice cracking slightly. Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. It was cruel, and it wasn't fair. Bakugo doesn't move. No kidding, idiot. His voice was low, raspy, and devoid of its usual booming confidence. It sends a fresh wave of guilt through you. You think you can just spit out shit like that and it doesn't matter. Katsuki, please. You plead, pushing yourself up and taking a hesitant step towards him. I really didn't mean it. I was angry, and I was overwhelmed. I was projecting and I took it out on the thing you two value most. That's on me. Kirishima pushes off the counter and walks closer to you, but his gaze is fixed on Bakugo's back. You told us we were naive, he says, his voice flat. You told us that our dreams were stupid childhood fantasies, and that we were wasting our potential on something that we would only get killed for. Ichiro, don't. You start, reaching out, but he takes a small, almost hesitant step back, and you let your hand drop. Bakugo slowly turns around, his crimson eyes, usually blazing with intensity, look duller, heavier. Yeah, don't. He echoes, his eyes locking onto yours. Because he's right. That's what you said. And you didn't even yell it at me the way you usually do. You said it quietly, like you meant it. The accusation in his tone was devastating. He's not mad about the shouting. He's upset about the implication. That's you, the person who had always been their rock, who believed in them unconditionally, might secretly think their life's purpose was a fool's errand. I didn't mean it like that. You insist, tears beginning to prick at your eyes. I meant that it was dangerous. I meant that I was scared of losing you. I'm terrified every time you both go out, and I let my fear twist my words. Bakugo coughs, a humorless, chalked sound. Oh, so you're scared. So you decided to hurt us first, to try and talk to us out of being heroes. That's what you think of us, that we just quit for you. No, you rush forward, closing the distance, needing to touch him, to break through the emotional barrier that he directed. You grab his hands, but they don't respond, remaining slack and cool in your grip. No, I know you won't quit, and I wouldn't ask you to. It was a selfish, rotten thing to say. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. You turn to Kirishima, who is watching the exchange with a profound sadness. Ijiro, I'm so sorry. I know how much this means to you, to both of you. You're the kindest, bravest, and most amazing men I've ever seen. and I know you're going to be the absolute best. My words were a betrayal of that belief. Kirishima finally moves, walking over and gently prying your hands from Bakugo's. He holds your hands loosely, not with affection, but with a wary exhaustion. We know you're stressed, Kirishima says softly, his thumb tracing a slow pattern over your knuckles. But we're your partners. We're here. You could have just said I'm scared. I need you to stay home tonight. And we would have stayed. We would have understood you. He looks at Bakugo, then back at you. You didn't have to attack the one thing we're building our whole life around. The air goes cold as Kirishima drops your hands. The message is clear. The physical barrier might be gone, but the emotional distance was vast. Bakugo walks to the door of their shared bedroom and rests his hand on the knob. He doesn't look at you. I need some air. Or maybe just some silence that isn't ringing with your bullshit. Katsuki, wait. You cry out, but he opens the door and steps in, slamming it shut behind him. The sound echoes throughout the apartment. You turn back to Kirishima, who is rubbing the back of his neck, his eyes squeezed shut. Ichiro, what do I do? I've hurt him so badly. Kirishima opens his eyes, and they were wet. He rarely cries, and the sight of his distress makes your stomach clench. You've hurt us, he corrects quietly. Look, I need a minute too. I need to be sure I'm not going to say something I regret. He walks past you, not touching you, and heads for the small spare room. I love you both, you whisper to his retreating form. He pauses at the doorway, not looking back. We know. He says it, and the way he does, so gentle, was the worst part. But sometimes knowing doesn't fix it. And then he closes that door, leaving you utterly alone in the tense, damaged silence of the apartment that you all share. The silence was broken only by your own shaky breathing and the heavy, awful realization that you might have just fractured the most important thing in your life. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And goodbye.